Proven controls to stop stealing in your company. That's what we're gonna talk about today. I'm Jojo Apollo, Asia's Revenue Breakthrough Leader, giving you tips so that your business will thrive as well as your family will thrive. So let me ask you first, do you have your horror stories of employees stealing your hard-earned cash from your business? I'm sure you have, and some of you probably even more horrorful stories, right? And that's why I want to talk about this and give you essentially 5 tips or 5 ways so that you can control them. Because in my 30 years of experience in sales and business, I've seen it, almost all of it. I've seen janitors stealing, working with production people. I've seen clerks taking also money. I've seen accounting staff, collectors doing skimming in order to gain more money for themselves. But most especially, I've seen a lot in the sales field. Salespeople, sales supervisors doing a lot of things in order to get away with money or stealing time from the company. But more than that, it really hurts more when you see your managers stealing from you. You see your general manager even organizing things so that he's gonna get more, or even your vice president and even president and directors getting money from you. That really hurts, right? And so after this 30 years of experience looking at things like this, I've actually devised these 5 things, okay? 5 key factors that will provide you with the right controls so that it can prevent all of this stealing that is happening. It will tremendously, I tell you, minimize stealing when you have these 5 things on board in your company. What are the 5 key factors that will make you have the right controls for your business? The first one is you got to know exactly what causes your sales. Okay? What causes your sales? And I'm gonna get into that because these are like the basic things that happens when people are stealing from you. First is moonlighting. What's that? Your salespeople are using your time not to sell only your products but also other people's products. That's moonlighting. There's a way to prevent that and to control that from happening. Next is this, commissions. Your salespeople will get commissions not only from your products but also from your customers, from your dealers, from your retail outlets. They will share commissions, they will share discounts so that they can get money from them. Okay? Or probably your database is being stolen by some of your employees and given out to your competitors, your big accounts, how much you are selling, what products you are selling. These are things that you need to protect too. Or maybe your salespeople will do fake sales. They will, make the sales bigger than it should be so that they're gonna get their commissions. But actually, eventually, you're gonna end up with a lot of accounts receivables. That is also another thing that your salespeople can do. How about this? Fraudulent disbursements on travel, on entertainment. These are like the usual things that's happening in sales. And skimming. You know what skimming is? Skimming is like this. They will collect money, okay, and they won't credit that collected amount for a customer. They will put it to another customer, and now the accounts receivable is starting to grow, but it's not seen because they're like rolling the accounts receivable across different customers. That's right, that's called skimming. So, how do you prevent all of this from happening? And so I said, you got to know exactly where your sales is coming from. And there are 5 things that when you have tight controls over them, it will not only increase your sales tremendously, it will allow you to prevent these things from happening. What are they? Okay? Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot one more. There's theft, outright stealing from your company. Okay? So, the 5 things that will prevent all of those from happening and even increase your sales is this. Number 1 is your control of your leads generation, control of your customer database, so that if you have tight controls on how your database is managed in your computer system and in your files, and it is only managed by a few trusted employees, then your database will be intact and will not be going out to too many people. That's right. So, manage that and protect your database. The other thing is this, okay? When you manage your database and you control it well, you will prevent your salesmen from what I call padding sales or padding your customers. Right? Because sometimes what will happen is a customer will already have their accounts receivable full. Okay, their credit limit is used up. And one favorite thing that's done by a salesman is this. They will actually create another customer name with the same customer. Especially if you're a big organization, and sometimes things like this are not noticed. So, when you are managing your database very well, those things will be caught early on the game. Okay? And next is this, your conversion rate. Okay? Managing the conversion rate, that is, what is the percentage of orders that is happening with the salesman covering the outlets every day. For example, your salesman will cover like say 20 customers every day. Out of the 20 customers, how many orders do they get? Say they get 10. So that's 10 out of 20, that's a 50% conversion rate. If they get only 5 out of 20, that's 25 conversion rate. Okay? So you got to monitor closely what is the conversion rate of your salespeople. When you monitor the conversion rate of every salespeople that you have, you are able to compare it across the different salespeople. And when you have salespeople having low conversion rate, that is some indication of either 1, they are poor in selling, so they need training, or 2, probably they are selling other people's products. That's right. So that is one way you're going to be able to find that out. And so, it's either you train them, or you warn them, or you fire them out. That's all. So you can do that only if you have a good monitoring of their conversion rate. Next is this, the number of transactions of your customers. Okay, the number of transactions, because when you know exactly what is like the average number of transactions that your customer or your outlets will have, then you can more or less monitor if disbursements like entertainment or promotions are not over the normal budget, because you can start comparing the average like entertainment cost per customer per transaction, and those entertainment costs that are way above normal will stand out, and now you can start to catch if there is some fraudulent or stealing activity right there in terms of disbursements. Next is this, the average order size. Very important, because one of the things that a salesman will do is they will load the customer with more orders than what is normal. And when they load the customers, that's not good, because if they will overload sales on a particular customer, what happens next? you're gonna have collection problems, isn't it? Okay? So if you are clear on the average order size of a particular customers, then if it's just a 15-20% increase, then that's still tolerable. When you start getting into 150, 200 times the normal, then you start looking at that particular customer to find out if there is a valid reason for the additional sales to that customer. See? So you manage that. Then finally is this, the profit margin and your discounts. So you gotta monitor the discounts that is being given to customers. Okay? Because salespeople will tend to give a lot of discounts, so you control that. At the same time, if there are like excessive discounts, okay, for example, for a regular channel of customers or regular group of customers, if suddenly one customer will have a discount that is like disproportionate to the others, then that will be also a red flag for you to find out if there is anything fraudulent there. So that's the first time. I spent a lot of time in sales because this is really where a lot of stealing can happen in your organization or your company. Okay, so as I said, you got to know what causes your sales, which will be your leads generation, your conversion rate, your number of transactions, your average order, and your discounts or your profit margins. Okay. Next, second thing that you gotta monitor, key factor, so that you prevent stealing in your company is this, of course. Okay. But before that, okay, it's this, you gotta have a good call plan, sales call plan. In order to do all of these things, if you don't have a good sales call plan, it's not possible, okay? So look at your sales call plan. Are you doing it? Are you having it? Very specific detail. What are the customers that your salesman will cover on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? Okay? What are their timings? What are their route plan? You gotta have that. Period. You don't have that, you're gonna be at the risk of having all of those possible sales fraud that I just mentioned a while ago. Okay. So the second one is this. Okay. Second most important thing to avoid stealing is this: monitoring your cost drivers in your organization, in your company. Okay. And when I talk about cost drivers, I'm talking about your Pareto costs, your major cost expenses in your company. Each company, each industry will have different cost drivers. Now the critical thing is this: what are like the 20% of your items in your cost that account for 80% of your total cost? Okay, so monitor those 80%. Okay, because I've seen this. Sometimes some business owners get into what I call analysis paralysis. So I've seen some business owners controlling paper clips, papers, and they were like so detailed in their controls, so much reports about paper clips and paper. Whereas that is only 0.01% of your total cost. And they forgot to control the raw material usage. Wherein when I look at their company, the raw material usage had a variance over usage of materials of 3%. And after just monitoring that, we actually discovered that there was a fraud. there was something not good going on. Okay, the 3% variance in raw material cost was because, okay, listen to this, okay, some production staff was actually, okay, intentionally, okay, throwing some of the materials into the trash can. And then the janitor was into it also. From the trash can, they would throw it to the outside, and it seems that everything was okay. But now they were getting the raw materials of the company. And when we found that out, we actually reduced the 3% raw material overage by as much as 2%. Okay? From 3, it became only 1%. And the 2% went directly to the profits of the company. Can you imagine that? Rather than saving 0.1%, you save 2% by taking care of your cost structure. So, I encourage you, monitor those Pareto costs. Make it something that you are able to look at on a monthly, even weekly basis. Okay. Now, the third one is this. Okay, is to monitor key accounts of your company. Monitor the collection of your key top customers. Those Pareto customers, you got to monitor them on a daily and even a weekly basis, because those are what will impact your cash flow. I've seen many business owners, they just look at customers on the average. They look at them as the same. No, they are not the same. The Pareto customers has to be monitored in a special report, so that if there is any one of them wherein they will be overdue or they will be over their credit limit, then you can immediately anticipate, because that has a major impact in your cash flow. So, are you doing this? That's a question that I ask you now. Next is this. The last two is this. And I tell you, these systems are so powerful because it will be your preventive measures. It will be actually something that will be a continuous improvement process that will now strengthen your systems and your controls whenever you are doing a sales promotions, as well as a cost reduction program. Okay? So number 4 is this. You have to have A and B testing of sales programs. Okay? What do I mean by A and B testing of sales programs? It's like this. Okay? I'm sure that sometimes you have a lot of sales promotions, isn't it? Okay? And some sales promotions work, some sales promotions don't work. What you got to do is this. You got to put your sales promotions there, and immediately in the first 3 to 4 days, maximum 1 week, measure the effectivity of each sales promotion. So for example, we have the sales promotion. We have a sales promotion A, B, and C. Okay? Sales promotion A was able to give, okay, an increase in sales of 6%. Sales promotion B was able to give an increase of sales of 10%. And sales promotion C gave a sales increase of 15% on the first week. So what do? We stop A and B, and then we focus on sales promotion C, because that was the most effective among all of them. Okay? Now the thing is this, if you don't do any A and B testing on a weekly basis, then maybe your time frame is a monthly basis. That's too late, I tell you, because by then you won't be able to you would have lost a lot of your promotions and advertising budget already. Now the thing also is this, when you have A/B testing also, and you already have a history on the performance of a promotion, when you implement it in another area, another city, or another branch, then more or less you have an idea. And if suddenly there will be a difference in what's happening, that can be a red flag for you to investigate further if how come it's not working well, or it's working too much. Okay, so that will be a red flag for you to investigate on the situation. Okay, so that's why when I say have a system of A/B testing, what you do is you plan, okay, the profit generator increase, and then you implement it, okay, and then you measure and check what is the result of that sales promotion, and then you act again and look which of the sales promotion programs is more effective for you. It's a plan, do, check, and action format, but this time you're looking at the sales promotions. And finally, okay, the next one is this: the process of cost and quality service improvement. Okay, so do you have a systematic process in your company where you will constantly look for improvements in terms of cost reduction, in terms of quality improvement, or service improvement at the same time? So it's the same thing. You gotta have a system where you plan the cost reduction or the profit improvement or the quality improvement. You do it and see if it is improving things, and then you check the results, and then you do actions immediately. Because I've seen so many business owners, they get an idea from the employee for a cost reduction project. They spend so much time in that project, and then the results is insignificant. It was not worth it even to do the project. So what I do is this: I like to have, like, okay, what are the ideas coming from the employees? That's good, they have initiatives, and right at the beginning I ask them to quantify what is the potential savings that will happen from that project, or what is the potential improvement in quality and service when you do this project, and is that potential savings, or rather quality improvement, significant enough to give us a competitive advantage. If it is not a potential savings that is significant, forget about it. If it doesn't improve the quality or service significantly, forget about it. Because your resources are limited. Okay, so look at that as another thing that you need to improve. Okay, and finally this. Okay, and this is really what will tie up everything together. Those 5 things that I mentioned to you. What you gotta do is, you gotta have a reporting system, a key measure, okay, of the critical things. Don't measure so many things. I just look at 7 things that you gotta measure in your business. What are they? Okay, on a monthly basis, on the minimum, look at your accounts receivables, okay? But for your key accounts, look at them on a weekly basis, okay? Then on a monthly basis, look also at your days of inventory if you have inventories, okay? Because these 2 things will impact your cash flow. That's right. Then on a weekly basis, look at your profit generators, okay? Your leads generation, your conversion rate, okay, the number of transactions, the average order size, the discounts and profits that you get on a per customer basis, okay? And then look at your expenses versus your budget. So you gotta monitor your key cost drivers, okay? And you gotta monitor that on a weekly basis by monitoring and comparing them between your budgets as well as your expenses. And then, of course, don't forget about your service. How is your delivery time? Okay? Monitor that too. Are you delivering on time? And second is, do you have complete orders done in terms of your delivery if you have a product? Okay. So, those are the things that you gotta do. Did you like what you've heard? I'm sure, and as I said, this is based on my 30 years of experience managing small companies, medium-sized, and even a billion-dollar company. And these are the basic things that must be present so that you can stop stealing in your company. So thank you so much for joining me in this live streaming. This is Jojo Apollo, Asia's Revenue Breakthrough Leader and your mentor, so that you can make your businesses thrive as well as your family thrive too.